last weekend, I traveled to the border in the El Paso sector. Most of the children that we saw were at the border patrol station. It is well known that the mounting numbers of children that are coming over to the United States is not, in the foreseeable future, going to stop, as we understand. The children are, of course, traveling on their own, or they're being brought by someone that a parent or caretaker paid for. When I visited the El Paso sector, there were hundreds of children at a Border Patrol station. Health and Human Services is the final place for children before they are reunited with a family member, a parent, or a sponsor. In the last administration, that was a failed process. Children were separated from parents, and children to date have not been reunited with parents. I'm grateful that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have decided to take the humanitarian route. For that reason, they began looking in this area, the area of Houston and Harris County. We are very grateful that the work that I've done with NACA and this family, Pastor Ortega and Mrs. Ortega, that they were, when asked, ready to accept the responsibility as community and religious leaders. It is appropriate in this Holy Week for many Americans who are celebrating their religious holidays from Easter to Passover, that there is an opportunity for children to come to our city. And so we want to thank the Ortegas for their humanitarian work. We know that you understand that the children cannot stay at Border Patrol stations. We just cannot allow that. And Health and Human Services is looking every day to ensure a safe, a secure, clean, healthy place for them. I have just walked through this facility. It is filled with appropriate bedding, wonderful staff, warm and receiving, medical staff, an in-house ambulance. Everything has been done. Clean facilities for these children to come who have had a very difficult time. When I went to the border, I spoke to a child who had been in the desert for 12 days. Every child that I spoke to, these were girls, and they were under 14, had crossed the Rio Grande at night. Every one of them had had that frightening experience. So Health and Human Services, required by law, has to move those children out as quickly as possible. We were glad that they were able to find this site, that the Ortegas were willing to accept our call, having worked with them during COVID-19, that they were able to do that. My final word is that HHS is required and wants to move these children to their parent, their relative, or their sponsor. All of these children will be expedited as quickly and as safely, with the walls of security surrounding them, to that person. And then they will be given a court date to be processed as to whether or not the child is seeking asylum or other immigration proceedings. This is a serious effort, and it is most timely that we stand here in this week, this Holy Week, when all of us understand, those of us of the Christian faith, that mercy provided relief for all of us. Today we hope to provide relief for these children. Now, before I conclude, we are prepared. We have no designated time. We have no hour that this is about to happen. But we know that we are prepared. We're prepared for large numbers. we're prepared for children to come and to be safe. We ask you to respect the privacy of the children and as well to understand that we are working to comfort them with all aspects of services that children need. Thank you so very much.
So you don't have a real clear idea of when they will actually arrive, correct?
No, we do not have that.
Do you think it'll be tomorrow, or do you have any kind of like, you know, sort of ballpark?
This has been a journey from the time that I began working with this, and when I say that, all over the state, because as you well know, there are sites, a number of sites in Texas, from Midland to Dallas, San Antonio, and beyond. What I understand is that many of these children have come at unexpected times. They may come in the late night, early morning, or they may come in the next couple of days. We know that we are told that this facility will expect children, but we don't have a designated time. It is the time that they are able to prepare these children appropriately, to get them in the right travel mode, if you will, and to get them properly transferred. They are very young. These children, across the gamut, are as young as 6 months old. The children that I saw were 4 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old. One of the things that HHS does not want to do in this administration, and I again am very grateful to the faith of Joe Biden, that's what you're seeing evidenced here. The law and his faith, along with Vice President Harris. We do not want to separate siblings. So it takes a long time to process the children, to make sure that you're not putting a sibling on the bus and you're leaving their sibling behind. We've made that commitment, and again, we made that commitment to move them as quickly to their loved one legally as possible.
Congresswoman, what are the children that will be housed here?
Well, we know that they will be girls, and from that we will receive them when they come.
You said you saw children as young as 6 months on the border. Will there be babies here?
We will not. We're not prepared for babies. Yes.
Congresswoman, on behalf of LULAC and the Hispanic community, we're so grateful for all your efforts and your personal intervention, and we're blessed that you were able to do it in Holy Week on Holy Thursday. Thank you so much.
You humble me by that. This is a very special time for those of us who are Christians, and I really believe what we're doing here in these next couple of days. Again, we are waiting for any notice of these children, but we're doing it in a particularly unique week. We really are very special and holy week for many of us.
Congresswoman, what does it take to set up a facility like this for 500 possibly, teenagers?
Unbelievable. As I walked through, they had to quickly muster beds, blankets, health, hygiene, clothing for girls, which means all levels of clothing. All of that is being brought in. A massive kitchen is being set up so that these children can have hot meals. When they arrive, they'll immediately have a snack and be processed and tested. We expect to do everything we can to secure these children. When I say we, the National Association of Christian Churches, which is well known for its disaster work around the nation. And of course, Pastor Ortega has a mission and a passion of service and faith. His wife is here, Mrs. Ortega, and everybody is all hands on deck. What I'm very happy to see is a medical team that will be here 24 hours around the clock. FEMA is on site. Health and Human Services are on site. We know that at the highest ranks of the Health and Human Services have been engaged with this particular area and site. We can't say any more as to time, but everything is in place that we need to keep the children very healthy and clean, and to have them to be able to rest. These children are only days or maybe hours away from an enormous journey that many adults could not take. And we've seen them have a spirit of hope. When I was at the sector, El Paso sector, and we gathered, and the children gathered around us individually as members, they were eager to answer questions. There were some who cried because they wanted to have hope that there would be something better for them. And their families are only sending them because it is a level of violence. A lot of violence in the Central America, a lot of violence in Guatemala. What we hope to do is to work with Central America to stand up the countries. But right now, we're dealing with children. And I think you are well aware, and I'll just end on this note, that the Biden administration has a commitment not to send back unaccompanied children to be victimized and possibly brutalized by the process and by those who have brought them over.
Congresswoman Shiela Jackson says they have already had parents calling them, trying to reconnect them with kids in case their children come here. What should the community know about trying to connect with possibly their children?
They should have faith and confidence that the first thing that is done when they walk in is they're processed. All of their information will be put in the system. That means that HHS almost simultaneously, not depending on what time it is, begin to look for the loved one. They need to be prepared to be reached out to. There will not be a determination as to what status that parent is, but they will give, once they can, or the relative, once they can identify through security processes that this is a relative that is able to receive this child, that is going to be happening. That's the good thing, that I'm very grateful to the Biden administration. They are determined to have a process to expeditiously, safely, and securely get these children into other hands, the hands of their loved ones.
Congressman, do you happen to have, or will you make available any pictures or video that you may have taken in there at your office or you to the media? Because we're not allowed in there yet.
Thank you for asking. There is 0 pictures that I took and 0 video. I am committed to the protection of these children. We took no pictures inside the sector in El Paso, and pictures that were taken previously in the last administration were desperate attempts to try and save the children's lives. Right now, you have a very clean, safe, and secure place. I will be taking no video. I have no video, and I beg you, and I understand, to join us in protecting the safety and security of these children. I ask the community to understand that these children are intending and cannot do any harm to anyone. I've been around these centers, and the only thing they want to do is go into the loving arms of their family member after a torturous journey where they came as directed by a parent or a loved one simply for a better life. And that's all I want to see happen. That's why I'm grateful to Pastor Ortega, Mrs. Ortega, the staff, Diaz, the attorney, Nellie, and all of their volunteers, that they were willing to accept our call and to accept working with the Biden administration on his commitment to a humanitarian response to this crisis.
Congresswoman, what about the boys?
Boys are going across the state, and as you well know, we don't mix children, but we have sites for boys as well, and we're hoping that there may be another generous and faithful group of individuals that may want to provide for that. But boys are being taken care of as well, and in the facility that I saw, it was so large, it was a border facility that was built to keep the children ready to go off to facilities like this. So boys are well taken care of. They will not be at this site.
I know this is set up for 500 children. Is that 500 on a rolling basis, so once a child is put with a family member, it makes space for another child to come in?
Well, HHS has the formula how they will work, and it may not be 500 all at once, but the capacity is such. But again, all we want to do is, for those that this agency receives, we want to take care of them very, very well. And that's what I saw when I took the walkthrough. Very, very well. With tender care, good food, and a warm bed, medical care, and a good, clean shower. What else? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I know that you have been out here. I have come out at this time because I wanted to make sure that my presence did not distract from getting this building prepared. But again, HHS wanted me to thank profusely Pastor Ortega for accepting our call, and First Lady, Mrs. Ortega, for putting this together and now waiting to be able to have these beautiful children, innocent children, come and be protected. And to come this weekend, I think, is a large statement about the heart of Americans and the heart of America, and certainly the heart of Houston and Harris County. I'm glad to be a Houstonian, live in Harris County, one of the Texans that cares about people, and certainly I'm very proud to be an American during this time. And I know these children are enormously grateful for this relief that they're getting right now. Thank you all. Have a blessed holiday.
Thank
you.
you.
Blessed.
Anyone who speaks Spanish who could talk to us? Maybe Mr.
Well,
Thank you very much.
they're a little shy, and we apologize.
Congresswoman.
As things grow, we may be able to provide that. We understand. And I can only say, muchas gracias. I'm learning though. Okay. Thank
Will
you.
you say a word to the Hispanic community and also to Johnny Mata?
Yes, I will call. I was in the middle of it.
Yes,
Okay.
I talked to him.
All right. First of all, to LULAC, that has been the storage civil rights organization in partnership with so many efforts of empowerment of people who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you, LULAC. Thank you to Johnny Mata, my friend and a champion for the least and the vulnerable and children. Thank you so very much. You called me today. I felt your spirit. We were moving, and now you can see what we're trying to do is provide a safe passage, a safe stop place, stop through, so these children to be united, reunited with family members. We will not go back to the torrid and angry days of separating children, of putting them in cages and having them never see their loved one. These children will be processed through the immigration system legally, fairly, and justly.
We're blessed to have you, Congresswoman, to care for the dignity, not just of Hispanics, but of all humanity. Thank you so much, and we're blessed.
Who are we if we do not love our people? All of our people.
Thank you so much.
Thank
God bless
you so very much.
Congresswoman, can I give a short statement?
Oh, there's my buddy. I didn't even see him.